The streets are on fire, and this time it's not just rumors, it's a full-blown war. Claressa Shields has dropped a bombshell that's shaking the hip-hop world to its core. According to her, what went down with Papoose wasn't just a fight. It was a calculated setup to take him out. She's pointing fingers at none other than Remy Ma and her rumored flame, Eazy, and the receipts are beyond explosive. We're talking about hospital visits, secret messages, betrayal, and a twisted game of loyalty gone wrong. As Claressa breaks her silence, fans are torn between shock and rage. Was Papoose really the target of an inside attack? Did Remy Ma cross a line that can't be uncrossed? And why is no one talking about the real motive behind this ICU nightmare? Buckle up, this isn't just drama. It's a war, and someone's about to lose big.it started as whispers, then it became murmurs, and now it's a full-blown explosion. But before the world found itself watching Claressa Shields call out Remy Ma and Eazy for allegedly plotting against Papoose, there was a time, not too long ago, when all seemed quiet in the world of hip-hop royalty. Papoose and Remy Ma had always been that couple in the spotlight that people rooted for. She held it down during her prison stint, and when she got out, he stood by her side as she reignited her career. The love looked real, the bond looked unshakable. Fans posted their photos as hashtag goals, praising their loyalty and ride-or-die energy. But as always with public love stories, not everything glittered. Behind the smiles and coordinated red carpet appearances, there were cracks. And Claressa Shields, the undefeated boxing champion and longtime friend to Papoose, says she saw it coming.it didn't start with drama, it started with distance. Around the time Remy began working more closely with Eazy, an up-and-coming rapper known for his gritty style and controversial lyrics, Papoose's presence around her seemed to fade. While Remy and Eazy were spotted in the studio, on stages, and even at industry mixers together, Papoose was noticeably absent. At first, fans thought it was strategic. Maybe Papoose was just focusing on his own lane, or staying out of the spotlight. But insiders whispered that something wasn't right. And then, rumors started to bubble, quiet ones at first, about Remy and Eazy being a little too close for comfort. Social media caught fire when a blurry video emerged of Remy and Eazy entering a hotel lobby late at night. It could have been innocent, but the internet doesn't do innocent, not when it smells scandalous. Fans were divided. Some said it was clickbait. Others believed it was proof of something deeper. Through it all, Papoose stayed silent. Then came the turning point, a hospital photo posted, quickly deleted, showing Papoose in an ICU bed, eyes shut, tubes in his nose, bandages around his ribs. No caption. No context. Just panic. Within hours, Claressa Shields, Papoose's close friend and longtime protector, went live on Instagram. Her tone was cold, and her words were loaded. I'm done being quiet. What happened to Papoose wasn't random. He didn't fall. He didn't get jumped by strangers. Y'all wanna know the truth? He was set up. And I know who was behind it. The live only lasted 5 minutes, but it was enough to send shockwaves. Claressa claimed Papoose had been lured to a location under the guise of a surprise meeting about a collaboration, only to be ambushed by masked assailants. She didn't name names right away, but she didn't have to. Everyone knew who she was pointing at, Remy Ma and Eazy. The backlash was instant. Remy's Instagram was flooded with snake emojis. Eazy posted a cryptic tweet that read, "Y'all love a good fairy tale. I live in reality." He followed it with a selfie, throwing up a peace sign, as if mocking the situation, but Claressa wasn't backing down. In a follow-up interview with a popular podcast, she said, "I don't care about your fan bases or your PR teams. That man was set up, and the people closest to him need to answer some questions. Period." According to Claressa, Papoose had confided in her weeks before the attack, telling her he felt unsafe and that something felt off with how Remy and Eazy were moving. He'd allegedly told her he received anonymous texts warning him to watch his back. He even reportedly hired private security, but that night, his guard had been called off hours before the incident. The public went into full investigation mode. Twitter threads dissected everything, from Remy's recent lyrics to Eazy's facial expressions during interviews. Old clips of Papoose saying, "I trust nobody but my wife," resurfaced and are now being used against him. A rumor began that the attack wasn't just about betrayal, it was about money. According to an unnamed source, Papoose had access to a significant investment fund tied to a new label venture. The fund, allegedly, was being eyed by outside parties, and when Papoose refused to sign off on some questionable deals, tensions grew. That's when, Claressa suggests, the friendly relationships around him began to twist. Remy, meanwhile, remained largely silent, which only fueled suspicion. When she finally posted, it was a photo of her and her daughter with the caption, "Peace over everything." No mention of Papoose. No mention of the incident. Just silence. Eazy, for his part, leaned into the villain role. He started posting laughing emojis, flexing with new jewelry, and even previewed a new diss track titled No Witnesses. In one line, he rapped, "If loyalty's a trap, then I'm breaking free / don't look for the real me when you play with me." The internet was now fully polarized. Some believed Claressa, applauding her for stepping up when everyone else went quiet. Others said she was clout chasing, making assumptions without proof. Still, most agreed on one thing: something didn't add up. The timeline, the missing details, the sudden ICU visit, it all felt too scripted for real life, yet too raw for reality TV. Papoose, meanwhile, remained out of sight. His team issued only one statement: Mr. Mackey is currently recovering from injuries sustained in a private incident. We ask for privacy and healing. But behind the scenes, sources claimed he was deeply shaken, both physically and emotionally. One source said, "He doesn't know who to trust anymore. He's replaying everything, every conversation, every moment, every decision." By the time the first week passed, it wasn't just a scandal, it was a full-blown unraveling of everything people thought they knew about one of hip-hop's most respected couples. Friendships were split. Allegiances were tested. And as Claressa doubled down on her claims, even promising to release more evidence in the coming days, one question remained: was this a misunderstanding gone too far, or a setup straight out of a betrayal movie? Because in this world, when loyalty turns lethal and love gets laced with lies, no one comes out clean, and the truth? It was only just beginning to surface. As the world watched in stunned silence, Claressa Shields made good on her promise to reveal more. The public had barely begun to absorb the gravity of her initial accusations when she returned to Instagram Live with a folder, literally, and a fire in her voice that was impossible to ignore. This time, she wasn't just talking about feelings. She was giving proof. "Let's stop pretending," she said, staring dead into the camera. "You want receipts? I got them." She pulled out a stack of printed text messages, blurred names, yes, but the timestamps, the tone, the content? Damning. The messages, she claimed, were between Papoose and a mutual friend who was growing increasingly suspicious of Remy Ma and Eazy's late-night meetings and cryptic phone calls. In one message, Papoose allegedly wrote, "They keep asking me to co-sign this label. Eazy acting like it's already done. Remy won't answer straight. Something off." Another message read, "If anything happens to me, watch them too. That's all I'm saying." Fans froze. Theories that were once labeled conspiracy suddenly sounded prophetic. Claressa continued, stating that Papoose was planning to confront both Remy and Eazy at a scheduled dinner meeting just days before the ICU incident, a dinner that was mysteriously cancelled at the last minute. According to Claressa, he never got to say what he needed to say, because they made sure he couldn't. Her most shocking claim? That Papoose had recorded a voice note for her a week prior to the attack, just in case something happened. She didn't play it live. But she read parts of the transcript. "If this goes left, you know who to watch. I trusted her for too long, and I ignored too much. Don't let them flip the script when I'm gone." The internet went nuclear. Claressa's name trended for 48 hours straight. Celebs chimed in. Even rival artists who had nothing to do with the situation reposted snippets of the live, captioning it with things like, "Stay safe out here," and "Industry ain't what it seems." Suddenly, the public wasn't just invested, they were obsessed. Everyone wanted to know what Remy and Eazy's next move would be. Remy, who had remained eerily silent through most of this, finally posted something that shook the room, a black screen with a single line of text: "Everything in the dark comes to light." That was it. No denial. No clarification. Just a cryptic sentence that sparked even more questions than answers. Eazy, on the other hand, kept doubling down. He posted a reel of himself in the studio rapping, "Snakes shed tears when they get exposed / I played chess while they played roles." He ended the clip laughing into the camera, saying, "Ain't no case if there's nobody." It was bold, reckless, and for many, a clear sign he wasn't worried. Or maybe he was taunting. Either way, it was gasoline on an already raging fire. The blogs had a field day. New headlines flooded the timeline by the hour. Claressa showed a handwritten letter Papoose had penned while recovering in the hospital. The writing was shaky. The ink smudged. But the words were clear: "To whoever finds this, if I don't make it, please don't let them paint me as paranoid. I was aware. I just believed love was stronger than lies." Tears. Everywhere. Fans, even the most skeptical ones, were stunned into silence. This wasn't just about beef or betrayal, it was about trust, survival, and the trauma of loving the wrong people too long. Remy's silence grew louder. Eazy's bravado felt more hollow, and Claressa's voice echoed like thunder. But with all this drama unfolding in the public eye, one question remained: where was Papoose now? And what would he say when, or if, he chose to speak? Word on the street was that Papoose was considering a tell-all interview. Some said he'd been offered a spot on the Breakfast Club, others claimed he was in talks with a major streaming platform for a docuseries. But Claressa hinted that he wasn't just ready to speak, he was ready to expose. At this point, the damage had been done. Families were fractured. Reputations ruined. Contracts voided. But the biggest bombshell was still to come, and Claressa said it would turn the entire narrative upside down. Her final line before ending the live: "Y'all think you've heard the worst? Wait till you see what he left behind, and who's been hiding it." The story was spiraling fast, and nothing was certain anymore, but one thing was clear: this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. The whispers had grown into roars. What began as a suspicious ICU visit had evolved into a national conversation about betrayal, power, and the dark underbelly of the music industry. But as wild as the story already was, no one, not even Claressa, could have predicted what happened next. Just as fans were starting to believe they'd heard every angle, a voice memo surfaced. Not from Claressa. Not from an insider. But from Papoose himself. The 2-minute audio clip, uploaded anonymously to a private Dropbox link and shared through underground blogs, began with the words, "If you're hearing this, then that means I was right." His voice was slow, wounded, but unmistakably real. He sounded like a man who'd been betrayed by everyone he ever loved. "They told me loyalty was a weakness. That I loved too hard. Maybe I did. But I never expected it from her. From them." The audio sent shockwaves through the internet. No one had heard from Papoose in weeks. Fans were worried, and rumors were flying about his condition. Some thought he had gone into hiding. Others feared the worst. But now, with this voice note, the fire was reignited. He continued, "I didn't want to believe it, even when the signs were there. But when money comes in the picture, people change. Remy wasn't the same. Eazy wasn't just her artist, he became something more. He didn't say lover, but he didn't have to." The implication was clear to then, the twist no one expected. Papoose claimed he had proof. Not just messages. Not just rumors, surveillance footage, from his home studio. From the very night he said he was set up. In his own words, "I installed the cameras after things started getting weird. I never told Remy. Never told nobody. But that footage, it shows it all." By the next morning, a clip from one of those security videos began circulating on Reddit. Though grainy, the video showed a man matching Eazy's build entering the side door of Papoose's studio late at night, without permission. Moments later, another shadow appeared, the outline of a woman wearing a hoodie. Users swore it was Remy. The timestamps matched the night of the attack. The internet erupted. Now the world wasn't just debating rumors. They were watching something real, raw, and terrifying unfold in near real time, under mounting pressure. Remy finally broke her silence. She posted a video, no makeup, no filters, sitting alone in a room. Her tone was cold. Defensive. Yet shaken. "I never wanted this. I never wanted it public. But since everyone thinks they know, here's what I'll say: not everything you see is true. And not everything said in anger is a lie." It wasn't a confession. But it wasn't a denial either. She admitted she and Papoose had been going through things. That they'd grown apart in recent years. And she vaguely acknowledged her connection to Eazy, saying, "He was there when things felt empty. But I never wanted to hurt anyone." The comments were divided. Some fans sympathized. Others were livid, but Papoose wasn't done. A week later, he dropped a 13-minute YouTube video on a new channel, titled simply, "The Real Story." He sat alone, speaking directly to the camera. No dramatics. Just honesty. "I've been quiet. Too long. I let people talk. I let lies fly. But now, you deserve to hear it from me." In the video, Papoose confirmed the attack was not random. He stopped short of naming Remy and Eazy directly, but he repeated Claressa's claims, that he had been lured into a setup under false pretenses, and that the people involved knew him better than anyone. He paused. Then dropped the line that shook the culture: "Sometimes the person standing next to you is the one who loaded the gun." He revealed he had filed a civil lawsuit against multiple parties, and was pursuing criminal charges for what he called a premeditated act of betrayal and violence. Then, without flinching, he revealed he was leaving New York. "Too much pain," he said. "Too many ghosts." The hip-hop world was floored, but what hit the hardest? The final footage. At the end of the video, he included a 10-second clip from his home camera. It showed him and Remy arguing. No sound, but the energy was hostile.